We just got some more LEGO Star Wars 2026 set information, and I know I'm a bit late to this, but I still wanted to make a video on it anyways, because some of the new information that has surfaced is actually pretty interesting. But first, I want to do a quick rundown of everything that we know so far in 2026, just in case you're not caught up. And also, some of these sets have actually had price increases from the last time I talked about them, so I'll note that too. But for January, we have 75436 Mandalorian Speeder Bike with 58 pieces and a retail price of $10, including the UCS Razor Crest Mando figure. 75436 Cobb Vanth vs. Cad Bane with 207 pieces, and this one has had a price increase from $30 to $35, which I'm not gonna lie is definitely kind of scary sounding. This one's looking out to potentially be overpriced. I'd say the best comparison is the Bark Speeder Escape set that came out in 2024. That set was $30 for 221 pieces, and this one is going to be 207 pieces for $35. So yeah, I guess you could kind of just expect a set of this size, but $5 more, which is ridiculous. Anyways though, then we're going to have a midi-scale AT-AT set number 75440 with 525 pieces and a price increase of $60 to $65. And then 75441, a midi-scale Venator, 643 pieces and a retail price of $80. 75443, a 4+ buildable Grogu set with 107 pieces and a retail price of $20. 75448, a Shock Trooper mech with 151 pieces and a retail price of $15. 75452, buildable BB-8 with 569 pieces and a retail price of $90. And then lastly for January, 75449, Siege of Mandalore Battle Pack with 116 pieces and a price increase of $20 to $23, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I still think modern battle packs should not cost any more than $17, and I touched on this very heavily in my 327th battle pack review. But anyways, that is the entire January wave, and then there's two other sets that we know of, or kind of know of, I guess, for May. This is going to be set number 75446 with a retail price of $130, and for the past few weeks, this has been very heavily rumored to be a new Razor Crest, and then set number 75447 with a retail price of $150, and as you guys know, this has been heavily rumored to be a Playscale AT-AT based off the Mando movie. So those are all the sets we've known of so far, and then now actually moving on to the new information, we have 3 new sets that have surfaced, and the first one is 75438, a Yoda bust with a retail price of $50. And alongside this, everyone is also posting 75439, a Darth Vader bust with a retail price of $60. However, this is not new information. We've known this for at least a month now because I remember talking about it in the first 2026 leak video I did. So yeah, the real new set out of these two is Yoda, and I'm not gonna lie, this is very interesting. I guess this is gonna be a new way for LEGO to make kind of helmet style sets, except not helmets, like characters obviously, like Yoda. And $50 for a set like this nowadays is a pretty cheap price tag, so I imagine this thing is gonna be very, very small. However, at the same time, I'm very curious to see what it's gonna look like, because as we all know, the faces on these brick-built characters are always hit or miss. And considering that this set is literally just gonna be Yoda's head, however they do the face is really gonna make or break it. Now, the next two sets are very interesting. Well, actually, I don't even know if I want to say interesting. They're kind of worrying, actually. If you remember in the last leak video I made, there were 2 sets I talked about at the very end that were unknown. One was going to be a $70 Imperial set, and the other was going to be a $100 Rebellion set. And well, now we know what those 2 sets are. Starting off with the Imperial set, it's going to be 75421 Darth Vader's TIE Advance with 473 pieces and a retail price of $70 US. And while that price to piece ratio is pretty bad, I just want to say I'm actually just excited that we're getting a Darth Vader's TIE Advance. The last full-scale one we got was all the way back in 2016, and that's one of, if not arguably, the best TIE model LEGO has ever made. So this new one is going to have some really, really big shoes to fill. But at the same time, when you look at that piece count, it does seem pretty low, especially for $70. So again, it's kind of worrying. And as for the minifigures go, I mean, obviously it's going to have Darth Vader, probably just the standard arm-printed one we've been getting. Other than that though, I'm not really sure. I feel like there's a lot of different options LEGO could choose. I've been seeing people mention that this set would be a good way for LEGO to throw in some of the figures in the UCS Death Star into a cheaper set, and I'm not gonna lie, they might do that. They might put a few Imperial officers in here. They could even put like Galen in here or something. So I guess that's exciting, but again, 473 pieces, $70, that is not sounding too great. But unfortunately, it gets even worse, because next up we have 75423 Luke's X-Wing with 584 pieces and a retail price of $100. Now there's actually kind of a specific reason this set is going to be so expensive, however I'll get to that in a second. But first off, I want to say that when I saw this price tag, I immediately thought like, hey, what if it's the same size as the 2018 X-Wing? Because that set was $80, and adjusted for inflation, I'm sure it comes out to close to $100 in today's money. money. But then right after I thought of that, I saw the piece count for this set, which is 584, and the other X-Wing had well over 700. So I was like, oh, well, I guess that idea is out the window. And also not to mention, there's literally a 2-in-1 set with an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter on shelves right now for $110, and this one is going to be $100. It's just, at first glance, sounding pretty ridiculous. However, this set is said to include one of those new smart bricks. And I've briefly heard of these things over the past few months, but I've never really taken the time to look into what they actually are. And you can read this explanation right here that Clay posted, but basically it's some type of special brick that like lights up and maybe has sound, and apparently it responds to how you move the set and what you do to the set, I guess, if you're playing with it. In the description, it literally says it responds to directly everything you do, the way you hold it, the way you move it, even the way you build and rebuild your set. And then also in this post here, it says that they tested it in 2024 in certain regions, with 2 main sets having the brick. And I'm not gonna lie, this is a decent description. However, at the same time, it's pretty vague. Like, is it just one piece that's like this, or are there multiple pieces like this? How big is the piece gonna be, etc, etc. I feel like there's a lot of unanswered questions. But then from there, it got even worse because a leaker made a sketch of this set, just like how they did with the turbo tank a few months ago. If you remember, there was a sketch of that set that actually turned out to be pretty much spot on of what it looked like. And well, with this X-Wing, someone has done it again. Apparently a leaker has seen this set and they have drawn it out. And I haven't put it on screen yet because it's pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie. But thankfully, I have seen some leakers saying that this might not be the $100 X-Wing I just talked about. This sketch could actually be of another X-Wing that's releasing next year, meaning I guess there's a chance we could get 2 X-Wings in the same year. And I'm telling you that before I show you the drawing because the drawing is gonna make you guys flip out. But here it is. It looks like a freaking 4+ set. It's super disproportionate, super bulky, and as you can see, it's saying that the smart brick is going to be there in the back, which is right in front of the engines. So I imagine it could potentially have something to do with them lighting up, but I don't know. But like I said, it's currently unknown if this is going to be the $100 X-Wing I just talked about. If it is, that is very, very sucky, because I mean, I assume this drawing is pretty accurate considering that the turbo tank drawing a few months ago was very accurate. And again, if this is a $100 set, that's just insane. However, still, there's a chance that it could just be a different set next year. This could be like a $30 4+ set that comes out in August of 2026 or something, which would be the best scenario. I really hope that's what it is. And it also brings up the question of like, is this quote-unquote smart brick even worth it? Because this X-Wing has 584 pieces, which would probably be a $70 or $80 set. And it's like, bro, is this one smart brick really worth a price increase of $20 to $30 just for the set to freaking make some noise and light up when you move it? I don't think so. And a lot of other people probably don't think so either. So yeah, this is very worrying, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways though, that is the new information that has surfaced today. It's some pretty interesting stuff and also some pretty worrying stuff. So let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more videos, you can see them on the screen right now.